To you. A couple of days ago, I was walking on the beach and I came across a dead seabird. Magnificent creature lying there dead. And it sparked for me thoughts of a version of me 40 years, more than 40 years ago now, riding on a ferry out to a Scottish island and looking at seagulls and thinking, what's the point of any given seagull? It doesn't matter if that seagull lives or dies. And with the kind of blinding insight that a teenager has when all the world is new, I realized, what does it matter if I live or die? What do any of us matter? And I felt a certain sadness about the nature of life and about the fact that that teenager 40 years ago was discovering things for the first time, and about the dead seabird. Maybe it was that, but I couldn't shake the sadness afterwards. Maybe it was the fact I had a conversation with a friend online that reminded me of things that I don't do anymore, and that made me sad, of things that I thought that I would want to spend my life doing and that now I don't. Or maybe it was catching a glimpse online of some other things from a world that I used to be part of and I'm not anymore. And maybe it was none of those things. Maybe I was hungry. Maybe I had low blood sugar. Maybe I haven't been sleeping well enough. Anyway, I found a darkness settling over my thoughts. And maybe as I asked myself, why am I sad? Why am I feeling a little blue? I ran through all the reasons why I could be feeling blue, and that just made me feel worse. My God, all these reasons to be depressed. Oh, God. Maybe it would have been better, which is what I eventually did, to say, well, I'm feeling a little dark because I'm living in a day of darkness. It's okay. We all have them. Sometimes the darkness is just a little passing shadow, like a cloud passing over the sun. Sometimes it's longer. Sometimes the darkness is so deep that you can't find your way through alone, and then you have two choices: reach out for help, or try to find your way alone and risk getting very lost. When I've been wise in the past and in darkness, in deep darkness, I've reached out for help. When I've not been wise, I've tried to go alone, and the results are often not so good. Nonetheless, darkness comes and darkness goes. And there's no point in fighting it. There's nothing wrong. I just felt sad. I still feel a little sad. It's passing. I still feel a little sad. There's still a heaviness in my thinking. A tendency to go back over old thought patterns, to relive past battles, to regret the things that now I'll never do, to grieve for the people I used to be, to pay attention to what is not rather than to what is. But I also know this: while I can never understand your darkness, the fact that I have spent my life moving in and out from being happier and less happy, sometimes going into deep places of despair, sometimes having a wonderful time, because I have been on those journeys, I know what it is to feel darkness, and that is part of the offer that I can make. In other words, I make friends with the fact that I'm someone who moves in and out of valleys of shadow sometimes. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Simon and Garfunkel, they knew what they were talking about. So, if you're facing a darkness, maybe there's a reason, maybe there's not, maybe it's just how things are today. What do I do when I feel that shadow settle? Well, assuming that it's not too bad. Then I back off a little, maybe get a bit of extra sleep, make sure I'm eating properly. And I try to discipline my thinking, so instead of thinking about what was once true for me or could have been true, or fearing what might happen and catastrophizing every decision I make, instead of getting caught in all the things that could, might, or were, I try to pay attention to what is. The seabird lay dead on the sand. 100 others soared over the waves. A little out to sea, some turned suddenly vertical and plummeted into the water, seeking fish. There was a distant rumble of thunder. It was a dark day, but beautiful still. This Sunday, I'm running a workshop. What's your purpose? It's free. It's part of my offer to people who perhaps don't have time or the money to access my paid services. Lots of people have signed up. Although it's a free workshop, one never knows quite how many will turn up. But lots of people have signed up, but there's room for plenty more. What's your purpose? We'll spend an hour online digging into your unique offer. And for me, knowledge of my darkness alongside knowledge of my light is part of that. I send each and every one of you, every single one of you, my warmest love.